So, let's talk about the modern playbook for life. You ever feel like you're getting pulled in a million different directions? It seems like everyone has a totally different set of rules for how to be happy, how to find love, how to be successful. The advice is literally everywhere, and honestly, it's all conflicting.
Okay, so let's jump right in. On one side, you have this super empowering idea from creators like Amber Scholl. She's basically saying, hey, I figured it out, I hacked the system. The idea is that you can visualize the life you want, you put in the work, and you can literally will it into existence. It's the ultimate promise that you are in control.
But then, you get a completely different take. This school of thought says all our modern ideas about equality and relationships, that's just a thin coat of paint over a deep, primal, biological program that's been running for thousands of years. It suggests we're not making up the rules at all. We're just trapped in a game that's already been decided for us.
And finally, you've got the comedians, like Daphne Springs, who just look at the whole thing and see how absurd it's become. You know, the ancient hunter-gatherer has been replaced by a guy who just types all day. So with all these wildly different playbooks, which one are you supposed to follow? How do you even begin to navigate this?
All right, to even start to untangle this mess, let's look at the surface level first. Let's forget all the deep theories for a second and just ask, what do people today actually say they want? And wow, is it chaotic. When a street interviewer asked women what seems like a pretty simple question, the answers were all over the map. We're talking everything from 2 minutes to 2 hours. It just goes to show you there's absolutely no consensus on even the most basic expectations.
And this is a pretty great and kind of funny illustration of how those stated desires can change over time. What starts out in your 20s as this huge laundry list, tall, rich, hot, obsessed with me, tends to get whittled down over the years. By the time you hit your 40s, the joke is that the standard simplifies a lot. It just has a pull.
Then you have someone like comedian Eliza Schlesinger, who looks at all these behaviors and says they're not random at all. She frames it all as this huge, elaborate performance, basically a competitive sport to attract a partner. From her perspective, that makeup isn't just makeup. Oh no, it's war paint.
So you gotta ask yourself, right? Where does all this come from? Are these changing standards and competitive games things we actually choose for ourselves? Or is this all just bubbling up from something much deeper, something we don't really control at all? Let's dig into that in our next section.
So some frameworks argue that our desires aren't just cultural whims. They're programmed. They come from a deep biological code that's been running the show for a very, very long time.
From this evolutionary point of view,